This is a story about how I ended up with not one, but two of the world's worst cameras. In the last few years, I've used over 200 cameras, film cameras, instant cameras, digital cameras, DigiCams, you name it, I've tried it. But I think I found a strong contender for the worst camera ever made, the Kenko Tokina DSC Pieni 2 toy camera. Now, if you follow my YouTube shorts or my TikToks or my Instagram reels, you'll know that I have a thing for toy cameras. Over the years, I've picked up quite a few quirky and fun cameras that I love shooting with. Some of my favorites include the Disdairy Robot, Kermit the Frog camera, the Holga Kitty Nyanya, the Fantacam, and Lomography's Octomat. What I love about toy cameras is the way they can spark your creativity, challenging you to create beautiful images despite their limitations. There's also a complete lack of predictability with toy cameras, as many of them have a fixed shutter speed, a fixed aperture, they have vignetting, and all sorts of other quirks. So when I saw that Kenko Tokina had released a digital toy camera that was absolutely tiny, I thought, right, this is my jam. I'm going to get one of these. I can't wait to shoot with this and see if I can get some quirky, unique results with this camera. Now, unfortunately, there were none available here in Australia. The only place I could seem to find them online was from eBay sellers in Japan. Now, there's a number of standard models that come in an array of colors. These include black, coral pink, lemon yellow, and sky blue. Now, the same camera also comes with Sanrio characters on the front. Sanrio, of course, the most famous alumni of Sanrio is Hello Kitty, but you can also choose to have Pomompurin, Cinnamoroll, and Pococho. So I bought a Pococho camera from an eBay seller in Japan, and about a week later it arrived in a padded envelope. I couldn't believe how tiny and small and light this camera was. So here is the Pococho camera here. It is absolutely tiny, fits in the palm of your hand and weighs less than an ounce. Now, in the packaging you get some instructions, you get a USB charging cable, and you also get this kind of faux leather strap that you can hang your camera on. Now, I tried the camera a few times here in Australia, but I wasn't getting very good results, so I sort of forgot about it. And then I was in Bit Camera in Sapporo in Japan in March, and I saw these cameras again. And despite the fact they're about $50 Australian, which is about 35 US, I decided to buy another one. So I now have two versions of the world's worst camera. I've got a Pococho and I've got a Pomompurin. If I hang both of these cameras now around my neck, I feel like a little bit of a camera nerd version of Mr. T. I pity the fool who buys this camera. So according to the Kenko website, the specifications for this camera put it very much in the toy camera category. The camera has a fixed shutter speed of 1/100th of a second, a fixed ISO of 100. It has a 1/10 inch CMOS sensor. It produces images that are 1.3 megapixels. The optics are listed as a 3.2mm f2.8 lens. And my first thought was, hang on, is this some kind of typo? But of course you've got to remember the crop factor. The sensor in this camera is tiny. Now, when I was researching this camera, I come across this excellent video from Jason Haleko, and someone in the comments did the math, and this is what they said. The camera essentially has an 87mm lens that gives as much depth of field as an f/75 lens. It may be tiny, but the Kenko Tokina toy camera has a few tricks up its sleeve. Not only is it capable of taking still images, it can also record video and record audio. Now, the user interface of the camera is not very good. There's a viewfinder on there, but it's pretty much useless. Obviously, there's no screen on the back, it's too tiny. The only way you can really control the camera is by pressing the two buttons on top. One is the on-off button, which doubles as the shutter button, which is kind of crazy because you can actually, if you press the on-off button for too long, you don't take a photo, you actually turn the camera off. And a few times I was wandering around thinking I was taking photos, but I'd already turned the camera off. So that's kind of a bit of a crazy design. The other button is the mode button, and this is what changes you from stills to video to audio. Now, when you first turn the camera on, there's going to be a little red LED light in the back there you can see, and that you're in stills mode. If you press the mode button once, you're into video recording, which is a blue LED, and then if you press it again, it flashes red and blue alternatively, and you're in sound recording mode. Now let's have a look at the first set of images I took with this camera. Hey, it's Matt Loves Cameras. I'm filming today in the beautiful resort town of Jozankei, which is a hot spring resort town on the island of Hokkaido in Japan. It's sort of late spring, I guess you could say. There's still quite a lot of snow and ice behind me, as you can see in the background. I've got two jumpers on, but it's not too cold. The sun is quite warm. And as you can hear, the crows are out in the background. But I'm going to be taking pictures with what I probably think is one of the worst cameras I've ever used in my entire life. So this is it here. So let's see what I can get with it. There's a viewfinder on there, but it's kind of a best guess on how to do it. The camera must have some kind of shutter lag, as some of the images turned out like this. I almost discovered the hard way why this camera has a strap. I almost dropped it in the river here in Jozankei. I would have been pretty grumpy if I had dropped that camera. Still got it. Maybe I should keep it on the strap from now on and not dangle it over bridges. So what did you think of those first lot of photos around Jozankei? Not very impressive, are they? The camera is very lo-fi. It was very hard to keep the camera still, as evidenced by the fact that many of the images, the horizon isn't level or they're actually blurry. I must have pressed the shutter button thinking I'd taken the photo and then moved the camera. So yeah, they're not very impressive so far. But if you do want to see some impressive photos from Jozankei, make sure you check out this other video. This is a short video, just music and photos and video footage. It goes for about 3 minutes. The video is from my GoPro and the images are from my Contax T3. So please check that out. Jozankei is a beautiful place and I hope I get back there one day. So one of the things about the camera is, of course, there's no LED screen on the back. So you have no idea how bad the images are until you get back to your hotel and you have a look at them. Because this is such a super cute and super compact camera, I actually took it back to Japan with me for my second trip in November to see if I could get some better pictures out of it this time, making sure that I'd learned some lessons from my first trip to Hokkaido with all those blurry images. So were the second lot of images any better? Here we go, let's find out. Here is the great Buddha of Nara, and also in Nara here is one of the wild deers that roam about looking for biscuits. Next up we have the Shinkansen outside my Kyoto hotel room. And here I am in Tokyo. I was able somehow to take a selfie with this camera. There are some autumn leaves, but you can't really tell how beautiful and red those leaves are. And here is a view of the bridge in Takayama. That looks a little better. Finally, I have an image and a little movie of some trains in Tokyo. So there's the second lot of images from my second trip to Japan this year. They were not much better. And certainly look at that video footage. I was holding the camera as still as I could. And yeah, it's very, very shaky. Probably because this is essentially an 87mm field of view, quite zoomed in. And of course, when you're shaking a camera and it's quite zoomed in, the effect of that shake will be much more accentuated. If you love Japan, make sure you check out the other videos on my channel. I have this travel photography video here with images shot on the Ricoh GR3, and I've also got a playlist called Japan on Film, which features videos, you guessed it, shot in Japan on film. Also make sure you sign up for my free Substack newsletter, mattlovescameras.substack.com. The Kenko Tokina toy camera is super cute and super fun. However, I can't shake the feeling that anyone who uses this camera will end up disappointed. Now don't get me wrong, I love lo-fi cameras, whether it's film cameras or digital cameras. I love the vintage look. But if you like that vintage retro vibe yourself, I would skip this toy camera and I would go for a Casio XLM EX-S1 or similar camera. This is also a 1.3 megapixel camera, but the images from this are fantastic for what it is. They are much sharper, much more detailed, and yeah, it's just a way better lens and way better sensor than what you get in this toy camera. I've done 2 videos on the Casio XLM on this channel. Make sure you check them out. So if you like that vintage DigiCam look, buy one of these, not one of these. Now, although I've labeled this as the worst camera ever made, look, I really do have a soft spot for this camera. It's super cute, super light, super fun, and I love the Sanrio characters on the front of the cameras. Kenko Tokina, if you're watching, I really hope you make another version of this camera with better optics, maybe a slightly bigger sensor, a better lens. I think you could be onto a winner if you improve the optics, improve the image and video quality. What did you think of the images and the video produced by this Kenko Tokina toy camera? I would love to know. Please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. And if you think you've played around with a worse camera than this, tell me what it is. I'd love to know that as well.